Hi everyone. So you might remember I wrote a letter to my MP because Chris Williamson has launched an early day motion to condemn the ongoing mistreatment and imprisonment of journalist Julian Assange. And I said Julian Assange has been tortured on home soil and now incarcerated. Now, I haven't had a response yet. I haven't had a response. It's been a week and I'll explain what I've done at the end. But I inspired somebody else, or at least, somebody else was inspired to send. In fact, it wasn't just somebody else. I know plenty of people who have sent letters to their MPs. And you know what? If you've sent an email to your MP on this, thank you very much. And if you haven't, why not? It's really important to get them on record. Watch. This is why. This is from Andy Dowett, who asked his MP, "Dear Mr. Hanson, I would kindly like to ask your support of the early day motion that Chris Williamson has tabled in defence of Mr. Julian Assange, who is being held in HMP Belmarsh. All the facts I have read and researched into the case, Mr. Assange has done nothing wrong. Many thanks, Andy Dowett." Many thanks, Andy Dowett, for doing that. Just thank you. Little things, guys. Honestly, the littlest thing can really help. You're not powerless. He had a response, and this is his MP, David Hanson, and he had a response, and this is what the MP has said. I'm going to read all of this. Okay, I'm going to read it to the end, and then I'll respond. I'll try and read it all anyway, without vomiting. Dear Andy, thank you for providing your post. How do you think he speaks? I don't know. I actually never seen this guy. How do you think he speaks? If I saw him, I'd probably recognise him. Anyway, thank you for providing your postal address to discuss the early day motion, which condemns the imprisonment of Julian Assange and the possible extradition to the United States. Yes, if you are going to send your MP an email, you must always put your address to say that you are a member of their constituent, and then they can look and they can check you on the register, and then they will respond to you. And if you're not on the register, at least maybe they'll tell you. Who knows? But he said Mr. Assange was found guilty at Westminster Magistrates Court for breaching his bail conditions. He is facing up to 12 months in prison for that charge. Julian Assange is wanted by Sweden for allegations of sexual assault. He chose himself to seek political refuge in the Ecuadorian embassy in London instead of facing a free press and open trial in Sweden. The Ecuadorian president inviting the Metropolitan Police into the embassy to arrest Mr. Assange, who refused arrest, and therefore the Metropolitan Police had to forcibly remove him. I cannot explain Mr. Assange's motives for not cooperating with the police. As I understand it, he continues, Sweden has a law which means that no one can be extradited from their country to another which still uses the death penalty. Therefore, it is highly unlikely that Mr. Assange will be extradited from Sweden to the United States of America. I believe people accused of rape should face a free and fair trial. That is why I hope that if the request comes from the Swedish government that they wish to see Mr. Assange extradited for trial, he will be. There are serious allegations against him, and they should be decided in court where the alleged crimes took place. As this is an ongoing case, I will not be signing the early day motion. It is important that parliamentarians do not intervene in court matters, which the extradition may end up back in court. Thank you again for contacting me. Yours sincerely, David Hanson. Incredible, isn't it? We bring over what I would respond with, shall we? Okay, so what I've got here is his, I've copy and pasted his email in black, and the red is how I would respond, and this is how I would respond, Andy. If you want to send that email, in fact, I'll send you an email so you can, take what you want from it and send it to him, but this is how I would respond. Mr. Hanson, thank you for your swift response. Although I appreciate you responding, your stance is somewhat misguided and contains many factual errors. And then I go on to his first mistake there where he said he is facing up to 12 months in prison. No, he got 50 weeks. It says here, I would say, Mr. Assange was indeed sentenced to 50 weeks in prison on the 1st of May 2018, Gordon, not 2019, you silly prick. On the 1st of May 2018, Mr. Assange was... sorry, I'll start that again. Mr. Assange was indeed being sentenced. Don't smoke pot, kids. Mr. Assange was indeed sentenced to 50 weeks in prison on the 1st of May 2018, an excessive term considering he has 0 prior convictions. He has now served half of that sentence and is therefore entitled to release. Right now, sir, he is a political prisoner. He has served his time for that charge of jumping bail. He is now a political prisoner serving time for no crime at all. As an elected official, I expect you should know that, especially this is such a high-profile case. It's important. He should know. He should know that Assange has already been sentenced, and he should know that Assange has served his term. He's an elected official, he should. Now he did the power. This is the paragraph about Sweden. Boy, did I have some fun with this. So when I say fun, I mean, you'll see. Sir, either you are wrong because you are misinformed in this paragraph, or you are trying to gaslight a member of your own constituency that you have a duty to serve. Julian Assange is not wanted for any allegations of sexual assault. Swedish prosecutors interviewed him for 2 days inside the embassy. It's true, they did. The investigation has been closed and reopened at least twice. Honestly, I think it might even be as many as 4 times. I know twice for sure. I think it might even be 4 times. Yet no charges, under heavy political pressure from the United States, I might add. Yet no charges have ever been brought and the investigation closed. He did not seek asylum in the embassy, as you assert, to avoid a trial in Sweden. There were not and never have been any charges in Sweden. He sought asylum in the Ecuadorian embassy from extradition to the United States, who he believed wanted to try him in a secret trial for proving they committed war crimes and covered them up. And guess what, sir? Yes, that's exactly what happened. That is now irrefutable. You can't say what that MP was saying with a straight face. I bet you he does, though. Also, the Ecuadorian president invited the Metropolitan Police into the embassy to arrest Mr. Assange after receiving a $4.2 billion loan from the IMF, the International Monetary Fund, with a promise of a further $6 billion in investment in Ecuador from various non-governmental organisations, US corporations. Are you trying to tell me that that had no influence? If so, want to buy a bridge? Those loans and investments, of course, which had austerity measures attached, those loans and investments, of course, had austerity measures attached, which Ecuadorians are now in the streets protesting against. Yes, I'll be covering that in a bit if I've got enough time. And this is the bit. As I understand it, he says, Sweden has a law which means that no one can be extradited from their country to another which still uses the death penalty. Therefore, it is highly unlikely that Mr. Assange would be extradited from Sweden to the United States. So do we, mate. We have that law, don't we? I mean, we'll get onto it in a minute, but this is the BBC. I know this is a while. This is 2003. This is the UK, so this is the Guardian. This is, this is obviously GCHQ's mouthpiece. The Extradition Act 2003 allows the UK to extradite individuals to certain countries, including the US, but removing somebody to the authority of a foreign state is prohibited by statute if that person could face the death penalty. So yeah, I'm right. Andy? Boom. Yeah, your argument's screwed, mate. Your MP's argument, he's screwed. So do we. I had to check it because I do go on to say a little bit. I hate to tell you that, and the United States has a habit of people who with info on powerful people getting suicided in their prisons, don't they? Jeffrey Epstein? Question mark. If Sweden cannot, then neither can we. Did you not make that connection? Why is it less likely Sweden will extradite him than us? Are they better than us at following their own laws? Evidently so. Then he goes on to say, I believe that people accused of rape should face a free and fair trial. Here we go. This is where I say, where are these allegations you keep speaking of? He does say here, there are serious allegations against him and they should... Allegations! Oh my God, there's allegations! Oh, there's allegations! There's allegations that I'm a far-right loon paid by Israel. There's allegations. Should I face trial for that? But oh my God, allegations! You're going to extradite people on just because they've alleged, somebody's alleged something now? Where are these allegations you keep speaking of, I say? Fine. Until that happens and the Swedes want him there, release him. Again, he's making an argument which is just useless. What is the point of this? If there were just allegations, you're saying he's wanted in Sweden. If there's just allegations in Sweden, why the hell should we extradite him there anyway? When the Swedes don't want him, why? Because they actually value the rule of law and they keep closing the fucking case. Until that happens and the Swedes want him there, release him. He served his time for that crime of jumping bail, for that ridiculous theatre concocted to ensnare him. Should really spell theatre wrong, shouldn't I? No. That's right. That's right. It's not wrong. Don't give me your little squiggly red line, theatre. That's spelt right. It's the Americans who spell it wrong. Your argument is moot, I said. There are no charges. If there are, then deal with them. But as it stands, you are basically saying throw him in jail and let him rot for something another country might do. Eventually. At some stage, who knows, maybe there's allegations and those allegations, they might lead to something, so gotta keep me in Supermax. Are you kidding me? How can this person be so misinformed? Of course, he's not that misinformed. He can't be, because if he's that misinformed, then he's incompetent. And he then says, this is an ongoing case, I will not be signing the EDM. I would like you, I would say, as my elected MP, he's not my elected MP, this is what I would say for Andy to respond to him. I would say, I would like you as my elected MP to address all of the facts I have just responded to you with. This is the biggest case in the history of freedom of the press, free speech and journalism. It's the biggest case in the history of it. Please, somebody try and argue any different. Give me a week to come back though, because it'll take me that long to stop laughing. And if you're not going to stand up for these things and would rather keep misinforming or gaslighting the people you have a duty to serve when such things are in grave danger, maybe you will find out just how badly your constituents value such freedoms in the next election, which I hear is probably going to be soon. You have either badly misinformed, you are either badly misinformed, on this important issue, or have shown me total disrespect by lying to me. Either way, I am not going to stand for an elected politician gaslighting me and insulting my intelligence. I urge you again to support the early day motion as I await your response to this email. I would like to know whether you are just misinformed on this issue of great importance, or whether you're attempting to gaslight your own constituents as a matter of policy. Andy. Was Andrew, but was it Andy? I hope I haven't said his name wrong now. And yeah, Andrew Dowser. Andrew, thank you. Thank you for sending it. I'll send you my response, what I would respond with to you after this stream's ended, and you can do with it what you want. I wouldn't copy it word for word. I would put something to that effect in. Because he's gaslighting you. He's trying to say to you, it's nothing, it's about this rape case. It's allegations. Allegations, what? What? Allegations? You're going to extradite people to Sweden on allegations that he did something that might one day be reopened? If, you know, the stars align. And this is why it's important we send these emails to our MPs. This is why it's important we get them on record. Because you just highlight them for what they are and for what they say. And you know instantly they're not there representing you. He doesn't give a fuck about you, Andrew. That guy. He doesn't give a fuck. When you respond to him with the response I've given you, he'll think you're a troublemaker and he'll ignore it. He doesn't give a fuck about you. I keep thinking of George Carlin. George Carlin keeps going through my head whenever I discuss politics in this country. Why do people keep electing these rich cocksuckers that don't give a fuck about you? None of you. None of you. Zero. None. That guy's not standing up for free speech. He's not standing up for freedom of the press and journalism. He doesn't give a fuck about the fourth estate. He gives a fuck about getting elected in his next term. If you start putting pressure on them, they change their stance. Start putting pressure on them. Pick it outside his constituency if you can. Pick it. Get some signs. Get out there. Get noticed. Make life difficult for them. Play within the rules. Bend them if you have to. But make them notice you. Make your voice heard. Get them on record. Now, I've been waiting for my MP to respond. So here's what I've done. She hasn't responded yet. It's been over a week. I said, hello, Miss Reynolds. I am still awaiting your response to the below email. I would like an appointment at your surgery to discuss this important matter, which is a threat to press freedom. I've asked her for an appointment at her surgery. When I get this appointment, and I will get it, I'll even ask her if I can record it and get it out there. Find out why she's not supporting this early day motion. Find out what Labour's policy is on this early day motion. Find out really if our politicians care about press freedom as much as they say they do. They don't care about you. They don't. There's probably only about 20 of them in the House of Commons in total who really do. And about another 80 who say they do that are badly misinformed. Badly misinformed. And end up sending you emails like the one I've just read out. Maybe he is. Maybe he's trying to do his best. Who knows? And he's just had that, I don't know. Maybe he's that out of touch. He doesn't realise how important this is. This is why we tell them and we put pressure on them. Can you imagine if he had 5 people, just 5 in his constituency, send him an email on that? On that one issue. Just 5. And really hold his feet to the fire. And then send it me. Believe me, send me your stuff. Send me those emails that you've had a response. Let me shame them. Let me tell you how I'd respond. Let me put the record straight. Because your MPs are fucking lying to you. Either that, or they're badly misinformed, which means they need to be voted out because they're fucking incompetent. From what I can see, that early day motion, there were still only 5 signatures, and one of those obviously is Chris Williamson. Still only 5 MPs. 5. So it's Chris Williamson, Calvin Hopkins, Anne Clwyd, Mr. Ronnie Campbell, and Graham Morris, 3 of which are from Labour, and obviously 2 independents. So yeah, those are the 5 that have signed it so far. So only 5 MPs actually stand up for freedom, free speech, freedom of the press, the rule of law, journalism, human rights, civil liberties, the fourth estate, sovereignty, holding power account, and democracy. 5. I'm assuming the other 645 down there are waiting, whether Sweden's allegations are ever going to come to anything, and until then they're going to keep him in Supermax. Because that MP who wrote Andrew, that's what he was suggesting. Let's keep him in Supermax. Sure, there might be some allegations from Sweden. There's some allegations from Sweden. Oh, let's keep him in Supermax. What the...